This week Nintendo showcased the new DS, the latest version of the popular handheld that first hit the shops back in 2004. Since then, more than 135 million units have sold worldwide, making the DS the second most popular console in history. Welcome to Amsterdam and the world's first look at the 3DS. And there was a familiar face on hand to start the show.
Games and gaming, Mr. Jonathan Ross.
I don't think I'll be needing these. Welcome everyone.
2011 looks set to be the year of 3D, with cinemas, TV and now gaming all embracing the technology. Yet, unlike its competitors, the 3DS doesn't require a pair of specs. It's impressive, but does the console really need 3D?
Nothing really needs 3D, but why not have it if you can? You know, it's new technology means that there's new opportunities for these guys to mess about with games. So far, what we've seen, they haven't really done anything revolutionary with it yet, but it's a nice new toy.
It's a subtle enhancement, but a really important one. You know, you can see stuff flying out of you. I hate to say it gives you that extra dimension because I'm not going to. But just all these little touches, gyroscopic controls, a little bit of 3D. I think it all just enhances the experience for the gamer.
For me, it's a little bit of a gimmick at the moment, but you do have to play with that slider a bit. 3D, whatever, if I watch it on TV or watch it in the cinema, for me, I do have trouble focusing, so I turn it right down to almost not there, but for me that works. Some people whack it right up. I think it's you have to dial it in almost to the way you want to look at it.
I've seen people playing it with one particular game where they're walking through the jungle and a snake comes swinging down from the tree and the people jump back, and you can only really explain it to people when they use it, because you can't, people don't believe that it will really work without having to wear glasses.
Yet 3D visuals aren't its only trick. There's gyroscopic control, a new touchpad, augmented reality, a 3D camera, social networking and Mii's.
I don't know whether people are familiar with Wii, where we create characters called Mii character. Well, with the 3DS you can create a Mii character and you can actually take your photo with it and then use that to develop your avatar, a computer-generated character of yourself. You've got that on your 3DS, and as you're walking along, someone else has got a 3DS, may also have their character, and it'll pick up that other person, but it'll be able to collect all these different Mii characters.
The console will be in UK shops on March the 25th, but there's no official word yet on the price.
I think that's something that always really happens. It's down to retailers to set the price. I'm not going to predict it. We've had a US price, which comes in at around $249. A fairly hefty bit of kit for that price, I'd say.
Word on the street is that retailers are saying somewhere between $220 and $230, so let's call it $225. That's not good as far as I'm concerned. The PSP, when it originally came out by Sony, was $250 and people went, scream blue murder at that. So really $225, although we've had inflation and whatever, it is still too much.
So it could be pricey, but will people buy it?
I think Nintendo have a lot of fans out there. I think a lot of people understand how the Nintendo DS works. So I think already they've got a user base that will quite easily take to playing the 3DS.
People buy it. The Wii hasn't even had a price cut yet in 5 years? It's still as popular as ever. I think Nintendo have proved if they make something that the public love, they're prepared to pay for it.
So the buyers are out there, but the console has plenty of competition, not only from the rumoured new PSP, but Apple's iPad and the raft of smartphones, all capable of playing high-quality games.
It's interesting to see now that they're streaming video onto the 3DS with Sky Sports and things like that. So there is some convergence there with other types of media.
I sort of look at a number of different devices that are out there in the marketplace, whether it be iPhones, whether it be iPads, whether it be laptops, computers, all sorts. There's so many different offerings for people, and none of these really are specific in what they're offering as far as, for gaming.
The game has changed with mobile phones being so much more smart in terms of gaming content. Apple's iTunes store, things like that, really mean that that handheld consoles are facing a massively different market. Their competitor isn't Sony anymore, their competitor is Apple, and on those grounds, 230 quid for a handheld console compared to a phone, I think they're on a losing battle. They really, really need to kind of innovate in a way that I haven't seen yet here.
The market in handheld gaming has changed dramatically in the last 5 years, more than it ever has done before. It's always been ruled by consoles that are owned by the traditional games companies. People are used to paying a couple of quid, maybe up to £6 for a proper game on the iPhone from the App Store. So maybe people will have woken up to the fact that there's much better value available now. But then again, history tells us that Nintendo's always got a way of marketing things so that they are selling in good quantities.
But as always, a console will live or die on its games, and the 3DS has an impressive lineup of launch titles, including Konami's Pro Evolution Soccer.
I think it's something that the team really wanted to work on. They're excited by the technology. We don't tend to produce launch titles. In fact, this is the first time we've produced a launch version of PES. But the team just wanted to get involved in the 3D aspect, and we're really excited the way that you can have a personal 3D world in the palm of your hand.
Well, I think it's, for me and probably the guys I write for, it's all the classics. I mean, Kid Icarus, a classic Nintendo franchise reborn in 3D. Also looking forward to a Resident Evil. I'm a bit of a Resident Evil fan, so that should be good. And Pilot Wings, a great, sweet old Nintendo game, giving a sort of 3D updates.
Yeah, I had to go on Street Fighter and Dead or Alive. Funnily enough, the fighting games that are coming out for it seem to be have better look in 3D.
I think the fighting games are going to be a clear winner in terms of the fact that they've got that real depth and simplicity straight away. I think Paper Mario, Mario Kart, things like that we haven't actually seen here yet today, but just seen video trailers. Those are really exciting titles.
Stuff like racing games, like you've seen here, Ridge Racer, and shooters like Kid Icarus. There's games where stuff's coming at you, basically. You can kind of use the 3D effect to judge the depth and make you a better player. I think, that'll definitely lend itself to the 3D effect.
I'm a massive Resident Evil fan, so that's taken my interest. Pro Evolution Soccer, it's a shame we couldn't get to play the Metal Gear Solid game, because that looks absolutely fantastic.
I have to be really careful because if I don't say one game, one of the publishers go, oh, hang on, what's wrong with ours? But it really is quite hard because there is, for our heaviest supported hardware launch we've got, as far as software goes from all the different third parties. Obviously, Nintendogs has come another dimension, and the fur on it is much more intense, and there's facial recognition. But then looking to the future, I was thinking of Resident Evil. I can see people playing that in bed and getting scared because of what it offers as far as the concept goes.
So the DS has gone 3D, but what about the Wii?
We're always looking at developments, and at the moment I think we've got our plates pretty full launching 3DS.